Hi, and welcome back to Community Kitchen Program Teachables. My name is Anna, and I am the host of Teachables, and I run a program here called Calgary's Cooking. Today's video, we are going to answer some of the most common cooking and kitchen questions. The first question that we're going to address is, what is the best way to thaw meat or a frozen product? Well, it's going to depend on a couple of things. The ultimate way is to give the product time to thaw properly. So if you can think ahead, it's best to take it out of your freezer and let it thaw naturally in the refrigerator. However, one other way that you can do it is you could immerse it under cold water. Now, if you're going to thaw it in cold water, you want to make sure a couple of things. Number one, if it happens to be meat, you want to make sure that your meat is really well wrapped before you put it in water. And number two, you're going to be wanting to keep an eye on the water because you might have to change the water over a period of time. If the water starts to warm up, you're going to want to change it and put fresh cold water back into it. Now, I do get asked, what about the microwave? Can I thaw it in the microwave? Can I thaw something in the microwave? Yes and no. I think it comes down to your preference. Just keep in mind that a microwave is meant for speed and efficiency. So depending on what it is you're trying to thaw, I would be just a little bit more careful with using a microwave and just also knowing that you're not going to be able to walk away from it, okay? The second thing that we're going to talk about is testing the doneness of a cake or a loaf in the oven. Well, there's a couple of ways that you can do it. The most common, of course, is to take a toothpick and insert it into the center of your cake. If it comes out clean, your cake is done. You can also do that with a loaf cake or muffins as well. Some people like to use the tip of their paring knife. Again, immerse it into the center of your baked product. If it comes out clean, it is baked. And of course, it naturally goes without saying that if your toothpick or your knife comes out with a little bit of wet product in it, it means that it does need a few more minutes of baking. Now, the next thing is, what do you do if you've oversalted your food dish and you need to adjust the salt? How do you correct over saltiness in a dish? Well, the first thing is it's always easier to undersalt than opposed to oversalt, because if you undersalt, you can adjust the flavor of things as you go along. So you will see usually in a cooking show or when chefs are working that they're constantly tasting the food as they're making it. And that's to adjust for things like saltiness, spiciness. So it's always easier to undersalt and add as you go along as opposed to trying to fix it when it's oversalted. Now, you can take a potato and you can throw it into your dish, and that does have mixed results, I find. The other option that you can do is you can just add more ingredients to your dish. So if you have vegetables in it, you could add more vegetables. If you've got beans, you can add more beans. You can add more chicken stock or beef stock, that kind of thing. The only thing you've got to remember is that as you add more to it, you're making more of your dish. And so generally, it does take a little bit more ingredients to fix it that way. So just keep that in mind. How do you take care and use any kind of cast iron cooking equipment? Cast iron works really well for being able to put it on the stovetop and use it on your stove, and then taking it and then immersing it into your oven and then pulling it out. It is a very practical item to have in your kitchen, but it does take a little bit of maintenance and a little bit of comfortableness of being around how to use it. So you never use soap on a cast iron piece of equipment, okay? What you do want to do is it's okay to immerse it in a little bit of water, warm water in particular, okay? And you want to take a nice soft cloth to it to help kind of loosen up the bits that you want to get off of it. What if you have something in it that doesn't want to come off and you you don't know how to remove that. Well, the first thing you don't want to do is you don't want to use anything abrasive. So no metal scrubbing pads or anything like that, okay? If you do that, what you're going to do is you're going to end up scratching the actual metal, and you're going to get metal shavings into your food. So you don't want to do that. You can get something like this. It sort of looks a little bit like chainmail, to be honest with you. And basically, it's just a series of metal rings hooked together, and it is specifically designed to clean cast iron. Now, you can't really feel it, but you can see that it is all rounded edges. So all you're going to do is you're going to take it, and you are just going to literally scrub in the cast iron dish, and this will act as your scrubber, okay? That will loosen up any kind of food that sticks. Once you clean all that off, you're going to want to dry it in the oven. Now, some people, once it's dried, they like to put a little bit of oil into the pan just so that it's ready for the next time you use it, and that will also prevent the cast iron from rusting on you. The final thing that we'll talk about today is the difference between baking soda and baking powder. Now, baking soda is sodium bicarbonate, and in order to use it, generally you're going to use it in a baked product, and what it needs is it needs an acid to activate the ingredient. Now, the point of using it is it helps with leavening of a product, okay? So it helps make a product rise, okay? And like I said, you need an acid. So an acid could be things like vinegar, citrus, buttermilk, yogurt, chocolate, that kind of thing. You cannot equally substitute this with that or this with that. Now, baking powder, on the other hand, is blended with a little bit of baking soda. Okay, it also has a little bit of acidic salts in it, and it also has some starch to prevent it from clumping up. Now, it also helps with leavening of a baked product, so it helps make a product rise in the oven. There are two different types of baking powder. There is single action and double action, okay? The single action, all it needs in order to get activated is it needs moisture. But as soon as you start adding the moisture to it, that means that you've got to work with your ingredients quickly and then get it into the oven, because the baking powder will be doing exactly what it's meant to do. It will start the leavening process as soon as you add the moisture to it. The double acting works in two different stages, hence the words double acting. Again, it does help with the leavening. It helps make a product rise. The first stage, or the first type of leavening, happens when you add the moisture, and then the second stage happens when you actually get it into the oven. Thank you very much for your time. That concludes our video for today. Enjoy your day.